Hi guys, Anémone here and welcome back to my channel. This year I just turned 25 and it doesn't do that much of a change, honestly. I'm just the same old me as I was. But one thing that I have to notice is that I am completely different from the person I was when I was 18, when I was 20, or even when I was 22, 23. I just feel like my frontal lobe has developed fully. I wanted to do a little chit chat video today about lessons that I've learned during my life because I think it can be useful to some people to hear some things out. And yeah, I just hope you will like this little cozy video of just me giving you life advice from my experience. Just mind you, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a professional or anything. I'm just a girl. Everything that I'm gonna tell you, I learned them by just my everyday life, by the force of things happening to me. I have a few credentials though. I went to therapy for a year and a half. I saw four different therapists in my life. I went through a couple of phases. I faced depression episodes a couple of times. So, I'm just telling you the lore here so you're aware of this. So, I just want to tell you that I'm really big onto mental health. It's really important to me. It should be really important in the society. It isn't really, unfortunately. But yeah, there you go. I'm getting lost, but the point is, here are 25 things that I learned in my 25 years of existence. Okay, buckle up, bitches. I hope you're ready. The first one is a pretty basic one, but I think it's so important because you just realize how valuable things were once you lost them. But please take care of your body. I know this is basic. I hurt and I injured my body in so many ways during my lives that now it has still memory of those injuries, or it's still injured nowadays. I have arthritis. I got arthritis at 22. Yeah, I know. I have the wrist, and to be honest, I have the knees as well of a 95 years old woman. This is embarrassing. There's nothing to do. There's no remedy to arthritis. I just have to deal with it. So, this is my message to you to take care of your body while you can. The second thing I want to say is really basic as well, but life is short. Do the thing you want to do. You should have two boundaries in your life. Like, don't hurt yourself and don't hurt other people. And apart from that, just do whatever you want to do. We only have one life. If you really want to try something out, do it. Okay? We don't have time. Growing old feels great. I have a few friends, and I know people in general are afraid of growing old, but this is actually amazing. There's this thing in our society where the beauty standards are like you need to be young, you need to be like youth, you need to be youthful. People want to stay young. We have so many tips and tricks to make our appearance look younger nowadays, and I get it that physically it can be a little bit hard to see the time on your face, like the time that has passed. But mentally, I feel so much better than I did when I was even 22, which technically is 3 years ago, which is not that long. But I have started to appreciate my body. I have started to appreciate my life, and it just feels better. When I was younger, I was worrying about the stupidest things ever. Like one of my biggest problem with acne when I was a kid, and now I still do have acne, but you know what? I don't even give a fuck, and that is beautiful. The older you get, the less you care, and it just feels great. I forgot to mention that those things are written in no particular order. I'm just saying them as I wrote them, like when I was in flow state. The fourth thing is it's more of a quote that I don't know, it spoke out to me. This quote is drumroll by Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. Caribbean. I'm sorry, I'm not a native English speaker. I don't know how to pronounce that word. He said the problem is not the problem is your reaction to the problem. And I think nothing can be truer than this. If things happen and you cannot control them, you need to learn how to behave accordingly. This is really weird to say, but you will lose a lot by just overreacting. Not saying that overreacting is fundamentally bad, but things happen, they will happen, they have happened, and you will face challenges every single day in your life. So what needs to change is how you envision life. The fifth one is for the girlies. Hormones have a bigger influence on your body than you think. This is so freaking true. As someone with a uterus who's got her period every month, every single month in your life almost is divided into four like period of one same cycle, and you need to act accordingly to it. Otherwise, life will get hard. I'm not saying you should like completely change your life. It's not possible in a society to live according to your cycle. I know it's really unfortunate, but you need to be gentler to yourself when it's the time to be gentler to yourself. And you need to, I don't know, try to challenge yourself when the time is right. When you're in your like luteal phase, so right before getting your period, you're down. You have no energy. So don't force yourself to be like social or to like, put a lot of efforts into things, because yes, maybe you can, but for me personally, I know how to set my boundaries now. I think it just makes your life easier. That's the thing. It took me so much time to realize how this influence had such an impact on my life, because every time, like the day before my period or sometimes the week, before my period, I was depressed, I was feeling bad, I was crying. And like, the next day, boom, first day of your periods, and you're like, oh, it makes sense. But for some reason, for years, every single month, I was surprised. When will you girly pop learn this? I'm just saying this so hopefully it takes less time for you to figure that out. I know minimalism is trendy right now, but keep some memories. I'm really glad I did that, and I'm really glad that I didn't declutter my whole freaking life. I know it takes up some space in your drawers, in your like whatever you wanna wherever you wanna store them, but I have a chest where I store like all of my old notebooks. I still have the diaries that I started when I was 7. Like I keep all those little stuff. And yes, it may be collecting dust sometimes, but even if it's just once a year or like heck, even once every 5 years, I'm really happy to go through them. Don't fall into the trend of minimalism. I like minimalism. I like the concept of it. I like the idea of it. And so many times in my life I was like, okay, I'm going to declutter everything I have. I'm going to yeah, I'm going to get rid of most things I don't use or I don't reach out to often. And I get it. Like for clothes, I don't mind it. Like I'd rather have a closet of things that I like and that I wear often, but for memories and I don't know, drawings with friends, little notes, even my notebooks when I was in school, or just like old jewelry that matters to me. It doesn't have to be like expensive things or anything, but I'm really glad I kept those memories, like those physical memories. The important thing is that nothing is really that important. I know when you're young, you're thinking that every single little problem is that big of a deal. Plot twist, it is not. When I was younger, I was obsessed with my skin, with my acne. Always, I was like, oh my God, people are gonna see my acne. And to be fair, I had a lot of pimples. Like it was, this cystic acne, and it hurts so bad. I get it, but it's not that deep. It's not that important. Nowadays, I still have acne and I don't even care. Something happens in life, whether it's related to your professional life, your social life, or whatever aspects of your life, it's not that deep. It's not that important. What matters is how you are feeling. You should try to protect your inner peace as much as you can, And I know it's easier said than done, but don't let things affect yourself that deeply because it's not worth it. Okay, number 8, you have to ask for what you want in life. Sometimes it's not the solution to things, but you will realize that sometimes it is. For example, for internships, I've been asking, I've been begging, and it doesn't work. Okay, maybe it doesn't apply to everything, but sometimes you just expect things out of people and they're just not aware of that. And probably they would gladly help you or give you what you want, but they just don't know it. And I think it's better to say things out loud than to just think that they don't care or. People can argue on this one, but I think it's better than you state things out loud rather than not. Because sometimes you can be happily surprised. 9, of course, it really depends on people, but to love someone, it's to not mind their defaults. Or it's like to be able to put up with those defaults or even to like them. I'm not saying that you have to, like, and of course you have to keep safe. Like, if he's beating your ass, girl, just leave him, okay? It's not about that, okay? Let's be clear. But like, those little annoying things that someone do, because we all do those type of things. You just need to find someone that you don't mind of those things in particular, because the things that you will see in the beginning of a relationship, usually you will see them and they will bother you later on. That is for sure. That's facts, okay? So you need to tell yourself that, like, am I okay with this? Like, is this something that I can put up with? Is this something that is, I cannot bear it, it's unbearable to me? In that case, maybe it's not worth it. I think it's how a great relationship works, is that you have to be aware of somebody's else, like, weak points, kind of, because everybody does have weak points, okay? Nobody's perfect, and I think you need to love someone, like, entirely. Even there are little things that annoys you, they shouldn't annoy you like that much. 10 is really simple. It's just people are humans and you don't know what they're going through. Everybody's human. Even those celebrities that you like idolize or whatever, they're humans, okay? Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has their bad days, and you just need to keep that in mind sometimes. I like this one, but you will discover yourself again once you go back to the things that you liked when you were younger, like a kid or a teenager. I think this is so freaking true. For me personally, it's the mangas. Recently, I have started to buy like secondhand series of mangas that I was reading when I was a kid, and it just makes me so happy that I'm able to read them again. It just fills me with joy. So if ever you feel kind of like sometimes, a little bit empty inside and you're like, oh, what should I do, and things like this, maybe try to think about what you liked when you were younger, when you were a kid or a teenager, and sometimes you will see you will like rediscover yourself. Okay, something inspiring again, but nothing will change if you don't change. Nobody will do it for you. In life, when you don't like something, don't expect it to change. You have to make it change if it bothers you. I don't think this applies to people because you cannot really change people. It's you can change how you perceive someone, but you cannot change who someone is fundamentally, I think. Maybe you can help them, but you cannot do the job for them. But that applies more to like situations. Like, you have a job that you don't like. Don't wait for like the end of your life to just retire. If you don't like your job and you're unhappy, change your job if possible. Do your best to have what you want. It's not easy. I know people, like, there's privileges, people are rich, people comes from wealthy family. Nobody's equal. That is a fact. That is unfortunate. But do what you can, do what's in your power to make your life better. Okay, this one will make you feel better, but you don't have it figured out and you won't probably ever. This is true. When you're young, you think that all those like adults, they have it together, they have it figured out. The truth is that probably no. And you know what? It's okay. Life is about discovering and life is about experiencing. It's not about having it figured out. I can speak for experience, okay? I'm 25 and I still don't have a full-time job. I still live at my parents' house, and it's okay. I don't have things figured out and it's okay. But that's kind of the point of life, okay? To make the best out of it while you can. So 14 and 15 is like worrying too much is useless, and worrying and being anxious is putting yourself through a stressful situation multiple times, most of the time for nothing. I know, once again, easier said than done. I have anxiety, I have chronic anxiety. I'm taking meds, I'm followed by professionals, and it really helps. I worked on that in therapy and it truly helped. Like, yes, worrying, like you're worrying, but nothing happens. You're just making yourself feel bad for nothing, unfortunately. My pessimistic side of myself was saying, yeah, but like by envisioning the worst, I can, be prepared to everything. Yeah, but it's mostly a waste of time because you cannot really be prepared to anything. I think you're never truly ready in life, and it's okay. I think it's important that us as humans, we learn to accept that there are some things in life that cannot be changed and that cannot be controlled. I'm speaking to you all like those control freaks that you are. I know you, I see you. I know it's really hard to distance yourself from this. You're always like, oh, I could have done better. Oh, I could have done this. But just thinking in like, what if I had done this? What if this happened? It's not going to help you. Oh, one thing that I learned in therapy that I think is really, really cool is that you should do things that scare you to get more comfortable with them. I used to have anxiety attacks when I had to take a phone call. Making phone calls was the worst thing for me at some point in my life. I clearly remember like the panic attacks I had. I was like scratching myself really hard. I was like, it was not cute. He was the first therapist that I saw, and she told me you should set yourself like little challenges to accustom yourself to this uncomfortable situation. Make phone calls with your friends first, with your family, people you're comfortable with, and then, gradually do it. Like, just force yourself to do it. Like, oh, you could order this pizza on your phone, like through an app, but, call them. It's nothing. It's just a pizza. It's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna, and if you want to put yourself in more like safe situation to practice it, just call a pizza restaurant that you never go to. If you're really embarrassed and you make like a really awkward phone call, at least you will never have to see them again after you pick up this pizza. Practice makes perfect, and it applies also to anxiety. It will make you grow out this comfort zone, and like, gradually it will expand and you will be more comfortable to do even more things later on. Just one quick thing, it's okay not to be friends with everyone. I'm the type of friend that don't need to be checked upon regularly. Honestly, I lived abroad most of my life, not most of my life, but a big chunk of my life, and I'm still friends with people that I grew up with. Like, I have a friend of mine who came to my birthday party for my 25th birthday party. I've been knowing him for 20, 23, or 22 years, and he's still there. And I haven't been in contact all the time with him or whatever, but just, some friendships carry on. But for some other people, it's really important that you need to, keep this contact. And sometimes you just can't, and it's okay to kind of like fall out of friendship. It's not dramatic. It doesn't mean that you're gonna hate each other, okay? It's just life happens, and it is what it is, and it's totally okay. I think I said this before. I'm getting confused. I'm sorry, but don't lose time and don't waste energy on things out of your control. Basic. Another basic thing is that stay true to yourself, be authentic, and don't betray yourself. I know it's really tempting, to do things even when you don't want to, especially when you're young. Like, you've got that peer pressure, you've got that like, oh, I need to be better than this, I want to improve, blah blah blah. But sometimes don't force yourself to do things you don't want to do. Don't say things that you will regret because you don't actually believe them and it's just hurtful. Like, just stay true to yourself and don't bend to the pressure of others. That is really important. Okay, really, really important as well, but expressing your emotions is important. In a healthy way, of course. They are unhealthy and healthy ways to express your emotions, but just bottling up those emotions and never letting them out is bad for you. It really is. For me personally, if I don't express my emotions, it will show on my body. I will get eczema, I will have like itchy skins. Like I have a skin that speaks up when I don't, so I'd rather do it myself. What really feels great for me is to journal, to write everything in a diary, or just to talk out loud with my friends. It feels really great with my mom. It's really grounding to say things out loud. You're allowed to cry, you're allowed to be angry at things, you're allowed to be happy, like feel those emotions. It's really important. And even if you think, "Oh, I shouldn't feel it, like this is unfair, I shouldn't be jealous." Just feel them and express them in a healthy way. Talk about it, journal about it, go to therapy about it. I don't know, but it's important so that it doesn't, hurt you later on, because that's the thing with trauma as well. It's impacting you later on. It has a delay, so be careful about that. Hi again, guys. I'm sorry I had to change the battery. Appreciate who you have become and what you have accomplished. Being grateful feels good. Sometimes reflecting on who you are, who you have become, what you've accomplished in your life is important, because sometimes you're so much surrounded by all the negative aspects of your life and you're like too deep into, the bad feelings, that you don't see what you have done, the beautiful things that you already have. If you have great friends, this is something absolutely wonderful. If you have a healthy body, this is really great. If you have, I don't know, if you have just a meal that you liked today, I mean, it's great already. Celebrate those little things. It's really important, and take a step back to just embrace positivity sometimes. This one hurts. Well, it hurt for me for a while, but getting help doesn't mean that you're weak. For the longest time, I've always wanted to accomplish things on my own, by myself. And for me, getting help was like, taking value of what I was doing. It meant that, oh, I didn't do this all by myself. Like it's not worth the pride, it's not worth the joy, it's not worth the feeling of accomplishment or whatever. It's like, oh, if I get help, I'm considered weak. It's not true. It's not true. It's same as crying. It's not because you cry that you're weak, okay? Getting help sometimes is necessary. And it's great if you do things on your own, and it's okay for you. But sometimes you have to open up and let other people help you, because sometimes you don't realize, but you need it. Well, when I was in school, I was that smart ass, okay? And getting help on, I don't know, homeworks, or just like asking to another student, like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry, I didn't really understand this, can you explain it to me? Like, the teacher is being really obscure, I don't understand." For me, it just meant like, "Oh, you're stupid," or things like this. But no, that's not true. Quite on the opposite, I would say, because it just shows that you're ready to grow and learn more. So it's absolutely not a sign of weakness. What the fuck? Another thing that was really hard for me was to take antidepressants. I'm still on antidepressants right now. I've been having them for over a year now, I think. And it had helped me in so many ways. I'm really grateful that I took the decision to take them, because it was really hard for me in the beginning. I was like, it was giving this feeling that people who were taking medicine for specific conditions were weak, which is absolutely not the case, okay? I was just like, no, I'm stronger than this. I don't need that. But maybe, you don't need to prove yourself anything. Once again, life is short, so when you can make it easier, do it. Happiness is in the tiny things. You're always like, "Oh, I will be happy once I get 10 million bucks and I have $1,000 closet and whatever." Yes, okay. Of course, it's easier when you have money, okay? Don't like, it's important to have money, to have food to eat, to take care of your health, to sleep safe at night. Like, once your basic needs are fulfilled, everything gets easier. I agree with that. The thing is that happiness doesn't come because of huge events in your life. It's not one thing that will, switch out like, oh, I was not happy before this, but now I'm happy. No, I think happiness is in the tiny things. Happiness is taking your favorite mug to drink your cup of coffee in the morning because it's so cute. Happiness is in seeing your friends and doing just like, board games with them. It's just the little laugh, the little fun that you're having. Happiness is that I don't know, you're wearing a shirt that you like and you're feeling great in your skin. Happiness hides in the little details. It can seem really trivial and it can seem stupid to some people, but it's not. It's really not. Do what makes you happy. I beg you. Okay, this is relating to doubting yourself, but don't wait to do things. Don't put conditions for doing things, especially if you want to do them, okay? Like, for example, content creation, really simple, but no, I cannot do content creation if I don't have a perfect camera. Like, first, I need to buy a camera. Like, if I have a camera, I will be able to do this. That is not true. I had a phone. I can film in 4K with the back camera. Like, don't give yourself excuses like this. You're never ready in life. You're never truly ready in life. You can always do better. You can always have a better camera. You can always have a better, I don't know, you can always have a better something before starting to do. So that's why I think there's no good timing in life. Okay, last but maybe not least, there is also no right choice in life. I know it's really scary to take decisions because you're like, oh, what if, once again, those what if, Nah, not good. But you can always be like, oh, if I had done this, like if I do this, I won't have this, or if I, because it is true. To choose is to say no to some things. Like, if you have blue and green and you have to choose just one and you choose blue, that means, yeah, that you will not be able to choose green. And it's okay. You have to be content with what you choose. You have to be, as long as you stay true to yourself, a choice is a right choice in a way, okay? Regretting doesn't serve any purposes. Life doesn't have really a meaning, doesn't have a sense. We're just people on this earth for kind of like no reason. And it's kind of like your job as a human being to do what you want to do in this life. Don't expect life to give you already a way, okay, in your life. You have to build it yourself. You have to work on it yourself. And don't regret on things that you potentially could have had. If you really want something that badly, you'll get it later. You'll take the time, you'll make the effort to get it for yourself later if you really want it that bad. I hope you guys enjoy this little chit chat talking video. I really enjoy making it. And maybe I will do more in the future. I don't know. It really felt like a little journal entry. Feel really nice. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and see you in the next one. Bye!